Hey everyone, how's it going this evening? See you, good to see you. Give me a second while I post on Discord really quick. Let everyone know that the stream is live. Okay. Looks good, I think. Let me know how everything sounds. Let me know if you can hear me okay. We'll get started on this stuff. So, tonight, what I want to do is I want to do a quick top view and front view of the Spino, just for my own sake, because I need those views. So that way I can understand what the dimensions of everything is. But I'm gonna only spend maybe about an hour on that. And then at around the 1 hour mark, I'm gonna switch over to actually doing some thumbnails, because we got to get some thumbnails worked up for the actual splash art that we're going to be making. So I got to get started. So no matter where we are at the 1 hour mark, I'm going to switch over to that, and then we'll get some thumbnails going, as many as I can, I suppose. Probably only get like one and a half maybe. Just guessing on my own pace. Give me 1 second. Organize my layers here. Make sure that I'm keeping on top of this stuff, or else I'm going to get real confused. So this is a side view. Okay. We'll do a front view. I need to get my references up real quick. Hope everyone has been having a good week. Middle of the week is over. It's kind of been a weird week for me because Monday was a holiday, so I didn't have work. So then like the rest of my week is like offset really oddly. And it feels strange. Like today feels like Tuesday for me, but it's not actually Tuesday. Hey, Jaden, nice to see you. Thank you. Oh man, I don't have what I want here. I'm gonna go into my reference library really quick and figure out what I'm doing with the top view of this, because I need the thickness. Where are my... Here we go. Oh, hello. Can I get a... Can I get this to pop in, please? I'm trying to get an image to pop into PureRef, but it's not cooperating with me. Maybe if I download it. Download. There we go. I had to download it, and then it would allow me to do it. Which is It's really weird. Okay. Should be good to go now. Let's see. Tiffany. Hey, Tiffany, how's it going? Sky, how long would you say it takes from the design to getting the Spino in the game? To getting a dino in the game? I saw Spino. It's. I would say it's going to be around 80 hours. 80 to between 80 and 100 hours to get. Well, that's just for my part. So to get it to like animation, I can only talk about getting it to animation. Once it's in animation, it's kind of out of my hands. For handoff to animation, it's going to take me 80 to 100 hours, around there. So if you compress that down into like work hours, like a work week, it'd be about 2.5 weeks. If I could work on it like 100% of the time, you know. But of course we're like kind of part-timing this stuff right now. So what I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to pull some reference lines over because I need to know like certain parts of the, like I need to know the total height of things. So I'm pulling reference lines over to the left so that way I can tell where everything is. Just very important parts, landmarks, the eyes, the top of the neck, top of the head, bottom of the jaw, stuff like that is what I need to understand and know here. So I can pull off a side view up on the left here. And I'm gonna do this with symmetry, so that's gonna make it a little bit easier. And there's a cool thing so I can come here and I can go to workspace and is it workspace or canvas? Window. So I can double the windows. And I can have like the side view that I'm working on here, and then I can work on the front view at the same time. This is kind of in the way, so we'll keep that there though. And yeah, we'll get started. I want to make sure that this is like, if I line it up properly and I stay at the same zoom level, I can kind of treat this like one continuous image. Hellrider. Just wanted to say that this concept for Spinosaurus is arguably one of the best, if not the best I've ever seen. Oh, thank you, man. Thank you. Your paleo art is genuinely incredible. Keep up the awesome work. Thank you. Thanks so much. Yeah, I really appreciate that. It's super encouraging when someone talks about the artwork in that way. It's, to be honest, like Spinosaurus to me is probably one of the hardest dinosaurs to work on. Simply because so many people have like so many expectations about the way it looks. It's just a very like hyped up dinosaur, you know? And it can be really hard to live up to people's expectations when they hear about a new design of a Spino coming out or in a game or a movie or anything like that. It can be really hard. So I'm glad that you enjoy it. I'm glad that you like it. I'm definitely trying to do my best for you guys out here. It's the same thing as with like with T-Rex. T-Rex is another one of those dinosaurs that gets really hyped up. There's so many different Rexes out there that like it's really hard to compete with other people's designs and like just visions of that dino. A nice man. It's 3 p.m. or 3 a.m. That is really, really late. Sorry if I'm keeping you up. I hope you don't have to go to work or anything super urgent in the morning. This is going to be kind of... I'm not going to be like such a stickler for the way this front view looks. I mean, I will eventually get it in line with the whole look of the concept, right? But for now, I just kind of I want the general proportions of how it looks from the front. That way I can just rely on it a little bit more when I'm drawing in the illustration. We're not going to be super duper picky. When it comes time to model this, we might have to revisit this concept, like be a little bit more specific. I don't know if I need to though. Like personally, like if Islander wants to see a more refined version of the Spino in front view for like his to review it and like approve it, then that's one thing. I will do it if he requests it. But for myself, I mean, when I'm sculpting it, I can pretty much figure it out as I go. But this is more like temporarily while I'm illustrating. I can refer to this and get a quick read on how things are supposed to look. Where's the top of the back here? Top of the back is like here. And like depending on the reference you use, Spino can be pretty wide. Miss Kezark. I'm not sure what that notification means. If that means you're new, maybe a new subscriber, is that what that means? Sorry guys, I don't know what these YouTube notification mean. I'm learning as I go. So anyway, thank you, welcome. If you're new, if you're not new, then you can ignore me, I suppose. Prehistoric Predator. As an Isle creator, I just want to say how welcome a true competitor coming is, and I cannot wait to get my hands on this game. Doing incredible work in your game. It is gorgeous. Oh, thanks, man. Really appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, that's a really good attitude to have when it comes to other IPs coming in that have like a similar genre coming into the space. I would hope that friendly competition is like a really good mentality to have when you're dealing with this kind of stuff. So thank you. Oh, okay. So you're not a dev, you're a content creator. Okay, cool. Nice man. Trophy Ignathus, next dinosaur you're working on? I believe so. I believe that would be the next guy. I forgot to add a line for the claws. It means a new subscriber to EOE. Good, thank you. Thank you, thank you. I appreciate the clarification. I think deep down, we all just want a dino game that feels realistic, gorgeous, and fun. Yeah, I mean that's essentially what I've always wanted from a dinosaur game. Yeah, and hopefully we can deliver on on that here. I mean, I think that's the goal, right? Definitely working hard to try and get that vision across. I mean, and everybody has to do their part. Like, I can only do so much with my designs, but I would hope that the design helps you know, the polish, the appeal, you know, all that stuff. Are you going to design the Ankylo when it comes to it? You know, I'll design as many dinosaurs as I'm allowed to design. You know, it really depends on how many people are on the team, how many who availability, you know. I mean, I don't know if I'm guaranteed to design every single dinosaur. But that's like the thing about these dinosaur games. Like, so we've kind of started to establish a look for the dinosaurs, right? Because I've done the Eocarcharia, the Ouranosaurus, the Peru. I've worked on the Dryo, Coelophysis. And then I'm working on the Spino now. So they're all starting to have I'm trying to create this kind of cohesive look. Of course, working with, the rest of the team, like talking about the designs and all that stuff. So for someone else if someone else were to come in and design or sculpt or whatever, do whatever with another dinosaur, they would have to feel consistent with. You can't have like two different looking, at least two drastically different looking styles. So that's where, you know, if we did want to add another artist onto to like start working on more designs and stuff, we would really have to work closely together to try and maintain like a cohesive feel to everything. And that can be a challenge. But at the same time, you have to understand, like, from like a, I guess like a logistical point of view, trying to have one person make everything, you know, all dinosaurs, all of that, it can be a lot of work, you know. So realistically, I don't know if I'll be able to do every single dinosaur, although I would really love to. But we'll have to work through that as we go. So far, though, I feel like I'm managing everything okay. So we'll just keep on chugging, you know. I wonder how. So one thing I'm wondering is how thick the metatarsals would be. Hellrider, would you say that most of your concepts and designs for the dinosaurs try to be more paleo accurate and up to date, or do you take some artistic liberties and try to be stylistic? I would say that this is a conversation that I've had with Islander, and I think it's an interesting conversation to have. But basically, it's I would say they are, for the most part, paleo accurate, but they're kind of pushed. Like, I would say they're like, if I were to give like a rough number to it, I would be like, they're like 90% paleo accurate, but then they have a little bits of things are like exaggerated, to be a little bit more in tune with what we want the game to be, like the tone of everything. So the mood is a little bit, you know, we want them to feel. I always use the Purosaurus as a example, because she's the one that I feel most exhibits the design sensibility best. But like, if you look at the Purosaurus, he's I would say he's pretty accurate as far as like a crocodilian goes, but there's little things about him that are, the form language is exaggerated just a little bit to be more consistent, to be more aesthetically interesting. Like, he has the spikes on his osteoderms, the way they're pointed or the way they're angled or the way they are arranged. They're kind of curated to give a certain aesthetic. That's kind of where I'm trying to balance things. Because I love super accurate paleo art. I really think it's great. And I've learned a lot, and I've done very rigorous reconstructions of dinosaurs. But this is a little bit different. This game is a little bit different. Like, we're, you know, with the Spino, what we've done here is we are exaggerating the size of the leg a little bit, because this isn't the size of the leg that would be in like a lot of the skeletal reconstructions. Spinosaurus legs if we're taking the data that we have currently as like the standard, right? His leg should be smaller. Like this Spino's leg should be much smaller. But we've exaggerated the size of them to feel more in proportion with the body. And then of course we have these like touches here, right? Like the sail is more spiky, spiny. It feels like a more aggressive shapes here. Generally, the way you see Spinosaurus depicted now is he has like this kind of shape to the sail, and we've forgone, like we've adjusted that so it's more of an arc, and it flows into the tail more. Whereas a lot of newer Spinosaurus reconstructions, they'll have this sort of trapezoid shape, and then it'll like do like this dip and then start the fin back here. Or they'll kind of just merge it like this into the fin. We're not doing that obviously right now. So it's stuff like that I'm adjusting. But I don't want to be like super aggressive with it. Like I'm not here trying to make I'm not trying to make a movie monster either. Like I'm not trying to exaggerate it so much that it's like completely like ridiculous. So it can be a fine line, you know. Where the heck am I? What is this layer? Oh, that's the crab. We gotta preserve the crab layer. Cannot get rid of that. Small John will get mad at me. But yeah, I hope that makes sense. I mean, it's kind of hard to like articulate that stuff, like why certain design decisions are made over others. It can get very like subjective and like kind of artsy fartsy, which I generally don't really like to get into because it's too like, it's very taste based. Like what is my taste versus somebody else's taste? And, you know, that's where you get into like, you know, what's right, what's wrong. It's very subjective. So that's where I'm going with it, you know, and that's where Islander and I have discussed it as well. And, I feel like people are enjoying it so far. Nice, man. You're just making the view the tribals have when a Spinosaurus looks into the soul, like in Jurassic Park 3. Just like straight ahead at them, yeah. Let's see. Rumble, thank you. How far are we away from Tropio? I would say, so I'm going to be focusing on this illustration for the next month, probably month and a half-ish. So I would say Tropio is probably November-ish. That would be my best guess. Judging by my pace and like everything else that's going on in the development of things. That would be my best guess. Not guaranteed though. Stuff can always change, of course. XE, I would say we customization on skins. As far as environmental interaction, I am not sure. Guy, would the gameplay for the dinos be more realistic, like weight beats all, or is it still going to have that PvP style? I'm not sure. That would be a more like game design question. Whereas I am on the art side of things, so I don't know if I can help you exactly right there. I just kind of I worry about like the way things look, you know, not necessarily how they're actually going to behave in game or like the properties they will have in the game. There is some like overlap there, but yeah, I'm mainly an aesthetics guy, right? I'm trying to make things look cool for you guys, and then the game designers are like trying to make it work. Rumble Small John is missing in action. Yeah, he is. He's not here to rep the mud crab. Somebody else will have to take up the mantle in his stead. I actually need a different color because I'm starting to get confused at what line represents what. When is the mud crab art coming? You know, I don't know. I mean, I kind of already did it. You know, there he is. We could just take that and like do a model from it later. The thickness of the tail. I don't know if I want to include the tail in the front view because I feel like it would be confusing. There's only I mainly want to know how wide he is and in his face. The width of the tail, we'll probably do the top view because it's easier to parse out. There's so many, like if you do too many overlaps in a front view, it starts to get confusing. Like what part is in front of the other. I usually don't do tails in front view. I always try, and then it's like too much. Get rid of it anyway. Get a little bit of shading on him. Yeah, we have another stream where Airsick Lowlander is making the map. He streams during the week. So if you're curious about the map design, go check out his stream. They're pretty chill, nice relaxing streams. It's pretty cool to watch. Let me get these lines out of the way finally, because I feel like I know where everything is, and now I can start to refine stuff. I don't need to have the lines up anymore. I think I need a front view of the skull though. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna go grab one. Of course, like, there's nobody who has like an angle of the Spinosaurus quite at my angle. So it's only going to be so helpful. Okay, found one. Tiffany, that's not a weird question. I mean, Dinosuchus. I don't think so. It's not on our list. Sorry, I got a little focused in there because I'm trying to really figure out where these landmarks are. Making sure that I'm hitting everything properly. Just trying to be very specific. Will this series turn into bringing Spinosaurus to life? Not for a while, I don't think. We'll have the Spino concepts to help me with the splash art for the game, and then we'll probably have to circle back around and do the Spino model later. I want to work on the claws for a second. Because I really want those to come across well. I might be deviating from the side view a little bit because I want a certain curve to these claws. I don't think I captured the claws. I talked about this earlier, but I don't think I captured the claws the way I wanted to on the side view. It's kind of hard because they're curving away from us in perspective. So I don't know if I got that entirely right, but I want the curve to be more like this, from side view. I mean, not side view, front view, sorry. I'm getting my orthographic views screwed up. Hey Delta, how's it going? I just want to play. I'm ready. Yeah, it's gonna be really fun. I'm really excited to see people get to play. I'm really excited to try the game out myself as well. It'll be really fun to, jump in there and get to play with you guys as well. I've never really had that experience with a game, a game that's actually gotten to the stage that we are, and we're able to actually try and, start playing with people, and it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it a lot. Have I ever played a big game with my own models in it? No, I have not. Closest I've come to that is Kyoryu with the... Yeah, that's the closest I've come. Otherwise, no. I mean, I've gotten to play other things that have my art in it, like card games and stuff like that, but not like a video game, like a, like a first person video game type thing. No, this will be a first for me. Partly why I'm so excited for it. I should actually put you guys are talking about human tribal stuff. I should probably put a human character in here for scale. I don't know. Maybe I might have time to put a stick figure in here or something. I could plop like one of the 3D renders of the tribal character model in here, I guess. But then it would look kind of weird because there's like a fully 3D character with a sketch. I don't know if that really matters though, but let me see. Let me see really quick. What is... So one thing that I'm going to put a human character in here based on like scale that I'm looking up on the internet. I would not take it as gospel for like what the size of the animal is going to be in game. It's just going to be like a general representation. Game designers are actually figuring out what size things are actually going to be. So I might just have to eyeball this, to be honest. Because like our legs are like totally different. So the reference point is shifted. Sorry, I'm just looking at some stuff. Looking at some data real quick. Okay. I need to move this guide over to right here. Parallel line guide. I'm just gonna pull a guide down from here. I usually don't use those guides. They're kind of a pain. But might have to. I just want a ground line so I can figure out where I'm putting this guy. Okay. Something locked. There we go. Tiffany, I don't have really. I mean, all I have is the Purusaurus. I don't really have any new models. I've been working on Puru, and I've been working on some texture stuff with the Orano and the Eocarcharia here and there. But yeah, I don't have any anything new. I'm just gonna add a little dude in here. He's not gonna be super fancy, but you'll get the point across of how big things are. I did not put that ground line at the right spot. That's okay. We'll move it later. Kind of a simplified human character, human figure. I should just draw one, right? I should draw one, and then for any future any future turnaround sketches like this, I'll just like reuse the same guy. That way I don't have to redraw it every time. Fun fact for those of you who, I mean, obviously you guys probably just know me for my dinosaur stuff, but the majority of the time, like 99% of the time that I'm working during the week, I'm actually working on characters, like human figures. That's what I paint. I don't actually get to draw and paint dinosaurs like all day. That was actually the majority of my emphasis when I was in college too, is just figure drawing. Lots of fantasy characters, some sci-fi stuff here and there. Is that right? Let's see. I think that's roughly the scale. We have to double check later, but that's roughly the scale. I think. Based on my very accurate eyeballing measurements that I'm doing right now. I'm just gonna give him boxy hands for right now. Let me double check my head heights here. I think I'm alright, maybe. It's a little bit more realistic than heroic proportions. So, I don't know. I won't spend too much time on that right now, but I think we get the idea. We're here to draw dinosaurs, not people, I suppose. Let me catch up on chat really quick, and then I said that we were going to do some thumbnailing, so we should probably get to that. Okay. Seems like you guys are just talking amongst yourselves. That's fine. Okay. So we'll finish that up. Let me save this. Then we'll start a new dock. New. We need a 19 by 20 by 1080. We want it to be sideways. So we're going to start in on these concepts. Thumbnails. I'm going to put this up to the side because I still need to see that. But let's see. Need to also get some reference in here for tribal stuff. So the whole point of this splash art is to show like the interaction between the dinosaurs and the tribals and like the kinds of shenanigans you can get up to, you know. So I've got a suggestion from Islander, which I definitely will try. But I also want to come up with some like alternative scenarios for this scene. So we're also going to try some of those. Like I'm going to give a few different options and see which one kind of works best. But we'll go ahead and go with the first one that we were talking about, Islander and I, which is, it was like a top-down view of the redwood environment. I think we're going to set this whole thing in the redwood biome. So we're going to have big trees, right? I think like a 3-point perspective looking down is what we were talking about. I'm going to try to establish a general grid here. Kind of a ground plane, I guess, here. And what the idea was that the tribals have just like stolen some eggs from a Spino nest, and the Spino is like chasing down the tribals to their village, basically, or like their one of their encampments that's like up in the trees, and the tribals are trying to get up into the trees to get away from the Spino, but the Spino's, you know, in pursuit. So that's kind of what I am going to go off of real quick. It's going to be kind of similar to the thumbnail from the like stream view, like what you see when I go live. But I want to try and elaborate on that a bit more. Splash art is like it's like a establishing scene that kind of is used on like menus and stuff like that. Like it's basically like a set piece scene that kind of shows what the game is about. You see it a lot with like League of Legends does it. That's why I call it splash art. That's because League of Legends, whenever they introduce a new like character, they have a new splash art that comes out, and there's kind of a style to it. Like they're very detailed. They're very dynamic. They have they're very refined illustrations, but they're generally trying to tell a story or like show you what this character is about and what you're going to be doing with this character in the game. I'm trying to find an example. I think this might be an official one. This is one. You know, they introduce a new character and then they do a splash art of it, and it's very detailed, very cool looking, very dynamic. This is probably one of the more tame ones. A lot of them get very, very, very dynamic, but I've done stuff like this in the past too. Like this is, I would consider this a splash art. This one. So this is kind of what we're doing, you know. A nice illustration that kind of shows what the game is about in like one image. I hope that makes sense. Hey Furious, how's it going? Thanks man. I appreciate it. And thanks for, I think I need to change my scale then, because if it's, I'll do it later, but I'll make note of your measurements there, and I'll change the scale so the ref will be right. Yeah, Rumble, it's exactly the same idea, yeah. Max Mill, I'm going to sleep. Okay, see you later. Okay, well, let's get started. Let's see. It's kind of hard to start these usually. I usually take some time to warm up, but I'm kind of out here on the spot, so let's try to get it going. What do I want to do? So I'm starting to add some trees in here. Trying to establish the scale. I really want to push the depth. Make sure that I'm getting things to feel like, I want to feel like we're high up above the ground so that we're looking down enough, but it can't be too high that we don't feel like we're in danger. It needs to be high enough so that we're like getting a good view, but not so high that the Spino couldn't grab you if he was trying. So maybe this is too high. I don't know. Because I also need to establish that there's like structures. So if we're saying, I'm thinking the Spino is going to be here somewhere. Maybe he's like running. He's running this way. And he's pretty pissed off because he's got, or maybe maybe it's the mama Spino, but she's pretty pissed off because they've got some eggs from her nest. I also want to be mindful of where the logo is going to be. So maybe the logo is like down here in the corner or something. Maybe just like temporarily, right? Maybe. So they would be running this way, trying to get up these trees. Maybe the Spino is like temporarily like on all fours. Not because it's running on all fours, but because he's got one or two people here. You know that scene in Jurassic Park 3 where the raptors like set the trap and they've got that guy, they're like standing on top of that guy, and they're like kind of like they're keeping him alive to see if they can lure the other survivors to help him. Not that the Spino's doing that. I wouldn't want to suggest that the Spino has the intelligence to do that, but he's basically just got one of their party members under his claw here, so that we can show like how dangerous the Spino is. I have to figure out. So maybe I should talk a little bit about like the function of what. So this is the thumbnailing phase, and the purpose of the thumbnailing phase is not to create like the most pretty pictures. Like, they're just to get ideas out there. It's like brainstorming. They're usually fairly loose drawings or paintings, sketches, just to show like the general composition of where things are going to be, like the general perspective. Sometimes they're like showing a lot of lighting. Depends on the artist, depends on who they're showing it to. But it's basically a quick idea just to get like the ball rolling on an image. So if you see like I guess some wonkiness in the proportions or stuff like that, it's because I'm not really caring at this point. It's just about being quick and getting ideas down and working through what the image will eventually be, you know? Like if you see a lot of I wonder if I have them. Let me see. I should have some. Like, so like this is the thumbnail that I sent to David Silva for approval for the Avaceratops. So this is a quick thumbnail. This maybe took me like, I don't know, 20-30 minutes to draw, and we get approval. I sent him like 5 of these, between 4 and 6, of these. And then he's like, you know, he gives approval on one that he likes, and then we start refining all the way to the final, which is this. So it's not really like, this is not really supposed to be super. Let me see if I have another one like this. Like you can see there's definitely some changes, but it's mostly all there. Then we refine it up to the final. Do I have another one? Do I have one for this? Yeah, this is the thumbnail for that one. So that's the point of it. Just a quick explanation of the process. So there'd be like a little guy in here, and maybe he's like crawling. I don't know how gory we want to get, you know, we got to be careful of that kind of stuff, but he'd be like, maybe he's still alive and he's like reaching. So I want to tell a story, you know, I don't want to just make something that just looks cool and not have like a purpose to it, I suppose. So he's caught this guy. There's maybe some other people around here, maybe running. I'm going to change the position of this tree because I don't really like how it overlaps the leg. You have some like cool like roots and stuff here from the trees. Some ferns, things like that growing around here. Because I can already kind of start to see the lighting scenario. Like this would be in shadow mostly. We get some light coming here. We could maybe have there's like a bridge or something here that's like higher in the treetops, closer to the camera, like this. There's like maybe like a railing or something. And it's like a rope bridge or something because it could sway. And then maybe there's some people. I'd have to adjust the lighting. But I really want to sell the depth of this. So maybe there's like a person or two people like up here. They're like concerned. They're like watching all this go down. There's maybe some other structures over here in the distance. I might be making this Spino like look gigantic. Maybe he's too big, but we'll try and get the idea out, and then we'll worry about specifics. So there's like a little hut structure here, maybe some more bridges going that way, this way. And then, so I want, it's going to be a little bit difficult because we're going to have 2 focal points. So we have this guy, of course, and then some, like, what is he looking at, right? He's screaming at something. So, and I still have to sell the idea that he's angry because these people have taken an egg or something from the nest. So maybe there's a guy here like this, right? And he's like got his arm outstretched, or maybe he's like holding an egg, and he's maybe there's a ladder here, or maybe he's like on a platform. Maybe it's a ladder, because I want to make him feel like he's like maybe could be in danger, like he's still like in the process of getting away. And then he's got other people, like this guy could be hanging off, right? Like this. He's like looking towards him. So he's like partially hanging off of the tree. And it's like, I don't know how big a Spinosaurus's egg is, you know? I feel like that's too big for a Spino egg. But who knows? Maybe this guy could have maybe like a spear. Maybe he's getting ready to throw the spear at the Spino. I might have to change the angle though. Maybe he's like this. This is I gotta make sure this is a ladder or something. Rumble, thanks you so much, man. I really appreciate it. I mean, this is what I do, you know, all day. Like, I'm by profession, I guess. The way I make the majority of my living is as an illustrator, not as a modeler. So this is a majority of what I do. Is just like, it was just painting. So I have been doing it for a while. I would not say that I was this fast, or like, you know, it took a while. It was a little bit of a trial by fire, to be honest. When I was in art school, they would give us an assignment. They'd be like, hey, you guys got to do an illustration of, you know, whatever, this and that thing. And they would give us like 3 weeks to do an illustration. Mind you, we'd have we'd have other classes, right, to deal with. So it wasn't just one class that we were focusing on, but they'd give you like 3 weeks to finish an illustration. And imagine my shock, right, when I got a internship at a game company that was doing card illustrations for a online trading card game. And I get there the first day, and they're like, "Okay, let's get you set up. You're gonna get started on an illustration. We need it done by the end of the day." I got there at 9. They needed it done by 6. That scared I was terrified. But I had to get going. I had to do it. And that's how it went, Like they're like, we need a illustration done today, and I just had to go. Nonstop go. So it was rough, I'll be honest. But, at the end of it, I think it really made me a better illustrator. So it was a really valuable experience, as hard as it was. Yeah. Yeah, it was nuts. But fortunately, that was only for like, I think I got a little bit unlucky, like as becoming an intern at that point in time for that company, because that was like their first contract. It was a newer company, so I think that was their like first contract. And since then, expectations have been a bit more fair. It's still very fast in terms of like what illustrations, like if you guys, remember the splash art that I showed you from like League of Legends. Those artists get like a month to work on those illustrations. They get a good chunk of time to work on those. And I think it shows, like they're very detailed, they're very well thought out. Everything is really planned, and they look great. So you can definitely tell that they spent their time, on that. But so far in my career, I haven't gotten a job that has quite that kind of time budget on it. Majority of the stuff I have to do is much quicker. So this is it's working out fairly well. And I usually allow myself, I don't know, like if we're doing this kind of stuff where it requires a little bit more thought and like storytelling and detail, I'll give myself like an hour to do a thumbnail, maybe 2 hours, depending on how much I need to explain. There's some people out there that their thumbnails just look like immaculate. Like their thumbnails look legit like little paintings, like little final paintings. And I'm so jealous of that type of person, because mine don't. Mine are much more utilitarian. They're just like, here's the idea. I hope it's clear. Do you like the idea? If so, let's refine it. If not, then we'll just keep moving. It's not like its own little beautiful little painting or anything, but it works. I'm going to add some lighting in here because I need to see these people. If they are people. And I kind of want it so they're like they're leaning, right? They're witnessing this crazy event, right? I want them to feel like they're like leaning into it, like, oh my god, like what is going on down here? Like they're just like witnessing this creature run through their village and they have no idea like how to react. Are you Moon? Are you like, are you staying up super late right now? Is it super late where you are or something? I need to add some mist or something in here. Do I want to merge everything? I'll leave it unmerged right now. I'm going to add some fog right here just to give some depth. And then I'm going to spend some time drawing some people up here in the corner. So they're looking this way. I'm like seeing them from behind. And they're holding on to this. I'm assuming it's like rope. Or I guess it could be like a wooden railing. I don't know exactly what the architecture. I need to get more concepts for that. They're going to be kind of basic people here. Like this. He's like looking. He's leaning forward. We got the tribal sort of outfit going on. He's got longer hair. This is like planks of wood here. This would be his lower half would mostly be in shadow. These would be, if we did go with something like this, these characters would be very low key. Like, what I mean by low key is like they're very in shadow. Like the value range is very low between them. That's what low key means in terms of like art and value. It would be a very dark area. Not a lot of difference between shadow and highlight. And the thing to keep in mind too is like what I'm trying to do as far as the composition is, once you become like for those of you who may not be artists in the chat, an artist's goal when we're wanting you to look at something, when we're wanting you to look at the painting, we don't want your eye to fly off. Like we don't want you to get off of the page. Like we want you to stay looking at our image as long as possible. So we do certain things to steer your eyes around the painting. So things like making light hit an object. Like I'm making this area lit light because it's a focal point. I want you to look here. So I'm making lots of things happen here. So I'm making the dinosaurs here. He's roaring. He's got a guy under his claws. There's lots of light showing. Like it's more clear here that you can make everything out here. This stuff in the corner, I don't necessarily want you to linger on. I want to tell more of the story. But one thing that people do a lot is people tend to look where other people are looking. So the reason why I am putting, these guys are all looking towards this. So tendency is whoever's looking at this painting, they're also going to look this way. They're going to see this guy. He's looking at the Spino. They're also going to start looking at the Spino again. So what it starts to create is sort of this like circular eye path or like vision path. And it keeps you spiraling around inside of the composition. Instead of making you don't want to shoot the viewer off the page. So like imagine if I drew the Spinosaurus and he was roaring, but there's nothing over here. There's nobody over here. Because all these guys here are going to be looking back at him. If there was nothing over here, you would go off. There'd be nothing interesting to keep you returning to the focal area. So that's kind of what's in the back of my mind when I'm designing these layouts, is like, how do I keep compositionally, how do I keep the viewer interested in what's happening here? It's a lot of like, I guess it would be composition theory. That's what you want to call it. It's all the stuff that some people learn it like intuitively. I learned all of this stuff in school. There's really no right or wrong way to learn it, I suppose. But that's what I'm thinking about when I'm making this. And once you see it, like if you guys go to a museum and you see some of those, like even the classical paintings, once you know what the artist is trying to get you to do, you can spot where they want you to go. Like it's definitely purposeful. They're not like just doing it by accident. Will the tribals be allowed to attack other tribes? I'm not sure about that. I don't know what's going on. Maybe this is like, maybe there's like decorations on the posts or something. I don't know what it is. It could be like ropes or like feathers or like some like fabric tassels or something cool. I don't know what it is exactly, but something to add motion in here. Just interesting silhouette. Because if it's just like a stick, like a straight line sticking out in the, in here, then it's just gonna look boring and purposeless. So I want to give it some kind of shape. So I'm deciding to make like ropes and feathers, and maybe there's like beads or something on there. I don't know if that's actually something that we have in the concepts, but because here's the thing about the tribals, they need to feel like they have some kind of culture to themselves, and culture. One way to get that across is just by designs. Like, how do they decorate themselves? How do they decorate their clothing, their houses, their weapons? That's a good way to like get across like what their culture is. Like, do they have like some kind of religion? If so, what do they worship? Maybe, and maybe do they put that design on themselves? Like if they worship the sun or something, do they have like sun symbols, sun tattoos? That's just an example, but I think it's important to. That's where a lot of the world building comes in. I don't necessarily know exactly. I have to look at the concepts that we have existing. But if there isn't any concepts like that currently, then I'm probably going to have to come up with something on the fly. Because if there's just guys in the trees and all they have is like ropes and loincloths, it's gonna feel very generic. It's not gonna feel like unique. So we'll have to figure something out for that. I need to spend some time over here on the right side. This would be this spot right here would be a good spot to add another structure. Like maybe there's like a little house or something over here. I don't know exactly. There'd be some structure there because it's a nice opportunity to like to show scale. Maybe there's another walkway coming over here. Maybe there's a cool way to get light in that area would be if they had like torches. Like if they had little, then I could get some light into this area and make it a cool little not too distracting. Because the one thing I was talking about pulling focus, right? If I start detailing the crap out of this corner, like say I put torches and like I made them very bright and I started hitting all of these edges with like firelight and like showing everything in there, your eye's going to start coming over to this corner when I don't want you to be. So I got to be very careful of how that works. But I know if we did go somewhere, something like this would be a good spot to put a structure. It could even be like maybe there was a bridge crossing here, and then the Spino's sail like broke it, and it's like crumbling down or something now. That could be cool. As an artist, it would be so cool to see into the minds of my favorite artists and see how they process and create a piece. There are so many approaches, and you just have to wonder about the yeah, for sure. I definitely get that. They worship the crab. I mean, you could have like a little crab cult or something. You guys would have to make a convincing argument to pitch that to Islander. But yeah, I mean, like, world building is a huge part of what makes something feel unique and what makes something feel lived in and what makes it feel, alive and rich. So that's world building is super important. The other thing I want to keep in mind though is like, I want to keep this manageable for myself. So although I would want to like paint like a full-on village full of people. I have to make sure that I can get this done in the amount of time that I have to get it done, you know? So I gotta be wise about where and how I'm like putting details and stuff. So right now I have a dinosaur, I have one guy here, two guys here, two guys over here. I like the idea of this, like, because I do like the idea of like showing this little village and the trees and stuff, but maybe I might, if we do other, well, I have to do more thumbnails, of course, but in the other thumbnails, I'm probably going to try and be a little bit more economical. That way I'm not biting off more than I can chew. How big is this tree? There are definitely varying sizes. So yeah, I mean, I would have to double check the scale of everything in this composition. Make sure that we're actually doing things the right scale. But I'm not thinking like, I mean, I live in the Pacific Northwest, and you know, these types of trees are all over. Redwood trees, or like different species of conifers. Very big trees for sure, but majority of them are like they're not like the giant like sequoias or anything. But maybe these guys live in those like sequoia trees, so maybe they would need to be much bigger. So in that case, like if they are living in those type of bigger trees, then we would have to scale up the size of these. So instead of having like 3 of these here, maybe there's just 1 or something. I don't know. We'd have to work that out. I'm gonna pay attention to this corner real quick though, because I've been like neglecting it. Pay attention to this side, because these guys here. Okay, so this and this are my 2 primary focal areas. So the balance needs to be between here. All this other stuff. These guys, this is all tertiary, secondary, tertiary stuff. So in the grand scheme of things, right, like this is going to be, these 2 areas are going to have the most detail. So this like a whole area here. These will be more minimal. Probably a little bit looser too, because they're going to be in shadow, out of focus, all that stuff. So this guy, The other thing to you guys is like, it's about drama. Like, we want things to feel. We want things to feel nice and like interesting. Like, so the scale, yeah, needs to. So like, I don't know. I feel like it'll be fine. We have to revisit it, but the scale will be fine. Because the thing is, if I put a little tiny little... If I let the Spinosaurus go super small and I just dwarf him with trees all around, it's not gonna... We want the Spinosaurus to feel imposing. We want the people to feel like they're in danger. Like they're coming up against like a big force. Like this big force is just, you know, stampeded into their village. So I wouldn't worry too much about the scale. We can always adjust that stuff, get it to feel right. But what I'm trying to get across is the idea. Like, do you guys, if I just pulled you off the street, right, and you had no idea about this game, and I showed you this image, would you understand what's happening? That's the point where I'm trying to get to. I'm trying to get people to understand what the game is about in one image without me having to verbally explain what it's about. That's visual communication. You know, that's part of being an illustrator, is telling stories, communicating ideas without speaking, without having to explain everything. And if I can do that, and that doesn't always require you to be like 100% accurate. In fact, I would say at this stage in the process, the idea is the most important part. We can spend time, you know, we're going to spend hours and hours refining this idea and making it feel detailed and accurate and all that stuff. But if we don't have a good idea to begin with, then there's no point in refining any of that, you know? So the most important point right now is trying to get the idea down. And that's honestly like one of the hardest things to, because I get it. Like I get that. Because I was like this when I was starting to be an illustrator. I felt very what's the word? Compelled to try to like make everything right, and like the anatomy needs to be right, the perspective needs to be right, the lighting needs to be exactly realistic, all that stuff. But it ended up it can get in the way of, it's important to think about that stuff, but it can get in the way of communicating the idea. So you have to be careful. You have to balance it. I gotta work on this area more. So I'm kind of neglecting it because I'm getting distracted by the Spino. So there would be like a ladder here. This guy would be facing the other way. It's going to be hard. His arm would probably be up here. He'd be like hanging off by one arm. And then his torso would be kind of... Yeah, he'd be kind of like sideways on this. And then this would be... This kind of spear would be like this. It's too thick. Maybe there's like some kind of decoration on this guy's spear. Something like that is the idea. I think I'm actually over time too. About 5 minutes. So I need to wrap this up soon. I mean, not wrap it up. I'm gonna work on this more because I need to have a few thumbnails to show Islander later. So I'll probably show you guys all the thumbnails I did next time. I'll probably do... I want to try and get 3 really good ones. And I'll show you guys the ones that I did next time. And hopefully we have one that we pick. If not, then we can keep on working on ideas. But hopefully we pick one. And then I can get going on the actual illustration. But yeah, Saturday stream is still scheduled as normal. We'll pick back up on the Prehistoric. Prehistoric has a skin that I'm working on that I'll be working on Saturday morning at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you guys want to join in on that, that'd be cool. Be happy to see you guys there. And then Wednesday will be more like Spinosaurus illustration development. So I hope to see you guys there as well. But thank you all for being here with me today. Thanks for chatting, keeping me company. Yeah, I'll see you next week, okay? Let me just see if there's any last minute stuff. I think everything everything. Okay. Take it easy, everybody. See you next week or Saturday. Bye-bye.